A friend has started making rings from coins, including this one that I'm wearing here. Whenever I visit his place, however, I find him working on top a coffee table or other sort of household furniture. Since he doesn't have the space for a proper workbench, I figured I'd make him this small tabletop jeweler's bench. The piece is just tall enough so it can be set on a coffee table for small seated jobs and heavy enough to do some small handiwork. I start off by milling down some dried dimensional lumber and gluing up a top. Then I cut 5/8 inch blanks for the drawers and mill the bottom and back dados and cut them to length. I like to make dovetails with a narrow point at 1/4 inch and the wide end at 3/8 inch, since it works well with my chisel collection and it looks nice when it's done. The pins are cut first using a flush cut saw, although a dovetail saw would be a much better choice. Then cleaned up with a chisel and trimmed to the line using a triangle file. The layout is then transcribed to the front piece, and the sockets are cut, undersized, and the waste removed. Lastly, the sockets are fine-tuned, and the joint is checked to be square. The drawer bottoms are just 1/8 inch hardwood, which is more than adequate for such small drawers. The sides of the case will need a rabbet and a dado to receive the bottom and the subtop. The side of the case is then cut away to form feet. If it's left straight, then the piece will be much more likely to wobble if it's on an imperfect surface. The top and bottom panels are 1/2 inch MDF because that's what I had lying around the shop. A strip of pine is glued to the front edge to match the case and to hide the MDF. The dado for the back was cut by hand because I didn't feel like setting up for a stop dado on the table saw, and I wasn't in the mood to listen to a screaming router. The glue-up is straightforward, although the installation of the center divider is a bit unusual. I wedged the drawers in place with spacers holding the divider in place, and then screwed it in place and removed the spacers. It seems to work fine. Jewelers' desks feature a backsplash and sides to prevent the loss of small objects. For this project, I've elected to use exposed screws so that it can be removed if the owner finds them to get in the way. The rails also serve to hide the screws mounting the top to the case. The drawer pulls are made from black walnut. The dark color contrasts nicely with the pine and gives the piece some visual interest. Poles are glued and screwed in place and then plugged with a contrasting color wood. The bench needs some tool attachment points, so these 3/8 inch T-nuts are installed onto the underside of the top. The first attachment I will make is a V-board to use with a jeweler's or a coping saw. There's nothing particularly complicated about this. Everyone needs a vise, especially a workbench. A small vise to hold small pieces is made from 2 hickory boards and some 3/8 inch carriage bolts and wing nuts. 2 walnut pieces will act as lips to concentrate the vise pressure. The vise brace is basically just a block, but some bandsaw and file work will dress it up a little bit. The vise is then attached to the brace with a couple of screws, and the brace is attached to the bench with a 3/8 inch bolt. After a few coats of oil and a little wax, this piece is ready for delivery. I hope it has many years of good work. Thanks for watching.